Hi guys, so welcome to our weekly update number 77. Today we've got some interesting comments from Jane, my colleague. We've got lots of news about visas which have come out of Manchester, and it's all good at the moment. We've got some NLV renewal updates. Excuse me. We're going to have a look at our calendar, YouTube comments, a bit about Spain, and a news article, which unfortunately this week is very sad. But above all, I have to apologize because I've let you down. I really have let you down, and I'm going to explain why now. Okay, so guys, I've let you down today because if you're chatting on the live chat, you're going to have to chat between yourselves, please. Well, there won't be a live chat because it's not live. You can chat in the comments, but it's not live. I'm so sorry. I just couldn't make the live this week. And it's crazy because I started these weekly updates, recording them. And to be honest with you, I wasn't brave enough to do it live at that point. I was like, oh no, I couldn't do a live, and at that point, I was going on lives with Scats, who was the master of ceremonies on YouTooSpain, as you know, but I wasn't confident enough to do my own lives. And then I finally plucked up the courage to do it and get the software to do it. And thought, you know what, I'm going to do it myself and I'm going to do it live. And now I feel really guilty for not being live, such as the community that come in when we are live. Last week we were up to 32 people, and I don't like to break promises, but unfortunately today I couldn't be here live with you, so this is a recording. But thank you, and please stick with us, because although I'm going to miss you not reading out your comments, we've got plenty of information coming your way. So yeah, keep chatting amongst yourselves though, guys, if you are on the chat, and I will definitely be back with you live for 78 next week. You just couldn't make it today at all, unfortunately. At this moment in time, I'm on the road, and as I considered trying to do it when I was on the road, I thought it's just going to be rubbish if I'm in the car as a passenger with a laptop and stuff like that. The main thing was unstable internet, because I would have done it, but I just couldn't get the internet to work properly. So anyway, there we go. Let's have a look then what has been going on with the visa situation. For those of you who are applying for a non-lucrative visa in the UK or coming to Spain to live on any visa, this show's still going to be a good one for you, because we've got information not only about the NLV, but to be honest, we do talk a lot about it because it's our main service product. And what I wanted to talk to you about, first of all, was our week. What a week for the end of July. I mean, July has just been crazy. We're supposed to have been on summer hours since the 1st of July, which means we start early, we finish at 2. And I don't think there's a day that I've left before 6, which is one of the reasons why I'm actually not here today. But it's been brilliant because everybody understands that August is difficult. We've been getting all the stuff that we can crammed into July, and we've had some great. It's been a really good month, albeit really busy. I've really enjoyed it, and we've had a lot of applications going this month to the BLS office. The renewals are stacking up as well. So yeah, it's all good. So what have we got? I just wanted to go through our calendar. So, because I've been out and about this week, unfortunately, Chris, one of our translators, had to take some time off unexpectedly. So I've been out, and I've been to Malaga. I went to Malaga, and 1 second here. Let's have a look where we are. Just bring up my calendar now. Here we go. Oops, I completely lost my calendar. Should have had this prepared before, shouldn't I, really? But it's currently 8:45. Look outside. It's still lovely. 8:45 on, 8:30 on the 30th now. So, what have we got here? Jane always puts me in as Jefe in the calendar. For those of you who know, if you don't know what Jefe means, it's a boss. I'm not big into titles though. I don't know. I mean, everybody in a business has to have their own title, their position, don't they? But I'm not very big at doing titles and stuff. It's just me. That's CEO of Upsticks. So I went into Malaga and I saw Owen and Karen on Monday. Well done, guys. Been in the country 10 days. TIE card appointment done. Boom. Congratulations. Living in your new house. Well done, guys. That's amazing. Yesterday, I went into Benalmádena and did another appointment for a lady who's had a really tough time, and it went really well, and I was glad that came off. So well done, guys. You know who you are. Today, I've been out with Jane Tamalaga, our Jane, because sadly, she got her bag stolen in the Academicas when she was on holiday, and there she won't mind me telling you this, and she had to get replacements for all of her cards. Now, the big thing is, Jane had one of the temporary residency withdrawal agreement cards that stated on it EU family member. This was a big mistake back in the day, that a lot of the cards that were printed had the wrong thing on it. Very much like what happened to the NLV first time registrations and renewals that we saw about a month ago when they updated the law and the computer system just had, I don't understand. And they said back in the day, don't worry about it. When you come to renew your card for a permanent one, you'll get the correct card at that point. But there's always a small bit of doubt there, isn't there, if that's correct or not. But it's true. Just to let you know, Jane got her card today. It does say permanent on it. It does say withdrawal agreement. Everything is corrected. So that's great. So any of you guys who are out there with the EU family members card, which actually should say withdrawal agreement, you're not going to have a problem when you come to renew it. And then tomorrow I'm on the road traveling all day. So sorry, today I'm traveling. This complete moment as we're talking, the complete moment. At this moment I am traveling. And then tomorrow I'm going to be in the city of Granada. So I'll be working in the morning. In the afternoon, we'll be out and about taking some videos to put on the channel. So that's going to be great. I did do one not so long ago. It wasn't the best video in the world, but anyway, we're going to crack on with that. So what have we got going on? I so miss talking to people now. Sort of bounce off the comments now. Now I'm a bit lost just cracking on. But anyway, I will just crack on. So visas which have come out so far this week. Well, we've got 4 visas out from London. 2 from London and 2 from Manchester. And check these turnaround times, okay? By the way, London and Manchester are issuing the 365-day visas. So we know that. We were the first people to basically break that news. I didn't see anybody else talking about it on the internet. But the new NLVs, which were issued from appointments post the 20th of May, law change, and now being issued for 365 days. This week we got our first one from Manchester. We've had some more from London, which were the first ones we got anyway. And the turnaround times from London going to Alicante were the 27th of the 5th till the 27th of the 7th. So basically 2 months, 8 weeks to get those visas. And here's a biggie. Manchester, 22nd of May until the 27th of July to get visas. So 2 months, 8 weeks, visas out of Manchester. Excuse me. And I saw on Facebook on one of the groups today that there was also an 8-week turnaround. So well done, Manchester. We're always slating Manchester, always saying, hang on a minute, why are you so slow? But at the moment, they seem to be speeding up. So well done. Credit where credit's due in that case. Those stats said, we've still got 3 or 4 couples who are sat nearly on the 12-week mark. So I don't know why. They're not getting requirement letters. It's just sometimes you get visas quickly, sometimes you don't. So well done. That's the NLV turnaround time. And you have to excuse me while I just drink a bit of water, because I even forgot to do my coffee tonight. And I just wanted to talk about the renewals. Oh, and an appointment today that we had in Granada for EU residency. So for NLV renewals, we got our first renewal back that was submitted after the new law change as approved, and it was through Malaga. It came out very quickly, and we submitted a 1 year's worth of bank account statements with end of month balances from the 1st of the 5th 2024 to the 1st of the 5th 2025. The application was put in around the 27th 28th, and they were all translated into Spanish. And then we also had a Spanish account showing the pension income going in, which was the daily spends for our clients. So basically, they don't spend 36,000 euros a year, okay, which is the requirement. All right, so they have their pension being paid into the Spanish account, which is a couple of state pensions, which they live off very nicely in the account, but the account stays very low. And we use that proof of daily spends and how they're actually living their life in Spain. To meet the requirement, we had the savings account, which what we did over that year was we took the end balance from each month and we wrote a letter and said, this is your average balance for the year, because they sometimes request the average balance and you can't get an average balance certificate from the UK. We translated those, added in our letter, which is called an escrito, that this is what they live off. So they live off their state pensions. They don't need to spend the 36. They actually intend to leave it in the bank. The bank was in the UK. That was accepted. So there we go. And now from Lee, Lee Burkett, who's a follower, who's always giving us some content and ideas and stuff to talk about. Lee, can't thank you enough. Keep them coming. He said, shall I keep sending these by email or shall I put them on the channel? Do what you like on the channel or by email, because I'll read them out if I can, and hopefully it will help other people. And Lee, what I have got for you is, because I owe you a mug. That is on my list of prizes. It's going to go out, but we had a bit of a disaster with our mugs and we haven't got any mugs yet again. So Lee, what I thought is you could have one of our new hats. There you go. I've got your address. And one of these brand new, spanking brand new Upsticks passports. Now these passports, they allow you to enter any country at any time and stay for as long as you like. Okay, there's just new out of the press there. So you go to border control and you show them the no, Jake, it's a notebook. It does look like a passport, doesn't it? Okay. Oh, they're pretty cool. There you go, passport size notebook. So basically, when you're traveling with your passport, you can keep. This was the method in my madness. Definitely an upgrade from the fans. Definitely think about that. The fans were a disastrous marketing ploy of mine, but these bad boys, these are fantastic, because you put this with your passport. Look, when you're traveling, you always travel with your passport. You put this next to your passport like that, and then you've got your pen, and you know it's not going to occupy any more space in your passport. And when you're traveling and you're talking about your ideas about moving to Spain, you can write them all down in your notebook. There you go. So there you go. You're not wasting battery on your phone. Some people still like to write. There you're going to get one of those. So, what did Lee say? Lee said, I know I'm supposed to always carry my NIE or TIE, I think you mean there, card, but I don't, as the worry of losing it and all the hassle that would bring puts me off taking it out. So I saw a few articles about being able to have an MeDNE app and have your ID there. Downloaded the app, bought a card reader, and then couldn't understand why it wouldn't read my NIE card. Turns out it's a TIE card, tarjeta de identidad de extranjero, not an NIE card. Don't let Jane hear you say that. She doesn't like that terminology, NIE card. Turns out this service is only for DNA cards, and these have a different readable biometric inside them. There's no current plan to introduce the NIE to the MeDNE app. That is true. You can't have a digital version of your TIE card yet. So not sure if you know the app. So what happens if you're asked for your NIE, say by the police, and you don't have it? I've loaded it into Google Wallet, but I doubt that would be accepted. Would you rather I post these questions on YouTube? Blah blah. Okay, cheers Lee for that. Right, okay, so as far as we can tell, all right, there's not actually, and I've done a lot of Googling, a lot of researching, a lot of asking, and also a lot of AI searching as well. Doesn't seem to be a fine for not carrying your documents on you, like there is if you don't carry your documents in a car. So in a car, I believe the fine's around 10 euros or something. But actually not having documents on you don't seem to warrant a fine. That said, and I asked a policeman about this as well. He's a local policeman, so they're not the Guardia Civil National Police, but they still stop and search people. They have the right to do so. And he said, no, I don't think there's a fine for not carrying ID on you. He said there is penalties for not identifying yourself or refusing to identify yourself. And what could happen in the in the rarest of cases, is you could actually be taken to the police station until somebody could bring your ID documents or could identify who you actually are. And I'm assuming that would be down to circumstance. So, for example, if you're having a good time, maybe you had too much of a good time and you're walking home and falling over slightly and you get stopped by the police and they can't find out who you are and you can't even identify who you are and got no proof who you are at all on you, then you probably would be taken to the station until it could be identified by someone else or something like that. What things can you do? But I do admit that having your TIE on you all the time could be a problem. But if you do plan to be on the beach, I really shouldn't tell anybody not to carry their TIE. You should always carry your TIE. Okay, always carry your TIE to identify yourself and not put yourself in that kind of risk. But say, for example, you accidentally, not on purpose, accidentally left your TIE card at home, but you're in the street and you were relieved because you thought, well, at least it's safe at home. What could you do? Well, definitely having a copy on you or a photo, even, or keeping it in your Google Wallet. As Lee said, there's a good idea. If you've got a driving license and you've got it on the Mi DGT app, on the Mi DGT app, that is a valid proof of a driving license. You can digitally show on your phone. You just go into the app, and if you got stopped by the police and showed that would be fine. Which has happened to me, believe it or not. And they didn't ask me to pull my TIE card out because they just got trying to find where it is now, the Mi DGT app up, and that's fine because that will have your NIE number on it, which means the police can get into the system and see who you are anyway. So I'm just going to access my DGT app, look, fingerprint access, and you go here. It's doing a bit of whirligigging. There you go. You can see that. You can't really see that properly, so I don't know if you see that. Oh, you can't because of the light, I'm afraid. There you go. 15 points doesn't mean I've been naughty. 15 points means I've been very, very good. That's the maximum you can get. And the more points you have in Spain, the better your insurance is when you're coming to renew and stuff. And you can only get that after you've been here for X amount of years and you haven't had any points taken from your license. If you see here, you can see one of the cars, it's got a little red label by it. That little red triangle there means that car can't be sold. That car can't be sold because that car's financed. So you can't sell a car with finance. So I tried to sell it, go to traffic builder, go, no, it's been financed. Can't sell that until you paid it off. That car obviously hasn't. Now, my point was I hit there at the top, and then you can't really see that, can you, at all? But that's my driving license on my phone. So, if you haven't, or you've left your TIE card at home, although, it's probably not 100% correct, make sure you've got that. So well done, Lee, for asking that. And we're going to our next section now. Where's my doofy thingy? Here we go. So Jane says, what's Jane saying today? My notes. Oh, yes. Did you know that non-EU passport holders are supposed to renew their residency every 2 years? What does that mean by renewing it? Now, not residency, Padron certificate every 2 years. So when you go to the town hall to register on the Padron, there's a common misconception that every 3 months you have to go and re-register. Okay? Or that because the validity of the certificate is 3 months or 90 days. That's not true. You go, you register, and you get a registration date, which is your line in the sand. Okay? At any point during that registration period, if you need to prove your address, then you go and get a certificado de empadronamiento, a Padron certificate, as we know, and that is proof, as long as it's dated within 90 days of where you live. This can be used in official bodies, getting your TIE card, in the police, the comisaria, DGT, etc. If you don't go and get a copy of your Padron, you will still be registered on there. But if you're a non-European, you'll only be registered there up to 2 years, at which point you have to go back and say to them, hey, I'm still here, confirm your details, and that will carry on for another 2 years. Okay? Now, if you are a if you're a European, that extends to 5 years. So if you're normally for our clients, because we requested Padron certificate for the renewals, you would do that without even knowing, because when you go and you're confirming and you get your certificate, that's as good as you actually confirming. But it's definitely worth checking. If you haven't been near the town hall for 2 years and you haven't got an EU passport, if you're still on the register, make sure they know that you're here. So great advice there from Jane. Also, Jane says, learn your NIE off by heart. So learn your NIE number off by heart. Okay, and I challenge you to learn it in Spanish as well. Right, so going back to what Lee said at the beginning of the video, you know, even if you know your NIE number off top of your head, and imagine this scenario. So you're in the beach, you decide to go skinny dipping. Someone comes along next week, no, you don't go skinny dipping, but you've been in the beach and all you do is got your shorts on, and you have and you've left all your stuff on the beach, and someone's come along and stolen all of your stuff. You've come out of the beach and all you've got is your flip-flops and the shorts that you're standing in. What do you do? Well, if you see a running policeman, if you're running to a policeman who's coming past, and you stop them and you need to identify yourself, and you've got your NIE number in your head, you say to them, I am this person with this NIE, and they should be able to bring you up on their system. Okay, they should be able to see who you are, identify who you are from what they have access to. So learning your NIE off the top of your head and in Spanish is a very good idea. Okay, so let's move on now to the next section. It's going to be slightly shorter today, less than an hour, which is normally what we do. But before we do that, because I've been waffling on, see, I haven't got you guys to control me now, right? I've missed something out, and I'm going to go back to the visa section. Okay, so we're going to go back to the visa section before the YouTube section. Okay, so back to the visa section, because I wanted to show you this. This was an email from David and Sheila, who went to their appointment this week in Manchester, and thank you so much for sending this in. Hi Chris, please see attached the photos around BLS Salford, Manchester. The roadworks in front are due to be completed around April next year. They're implementing bike lanes, one-way systems, and pedestrianisation around this area. It will be a lot better and will look nice when finished. The BLS Centre is in the very tall apartment block, which looks better from behind, which is self-facing, with most apartments having large balconies. There is a small park area behind the side of the river airwheel, with seating, some bars, restaurants, where we passed a little time before our appointment. Thank you so much, guys, for sending that in. Every bit of information that you can send in, every time someone sends me something in from one of the BLS offices, or a photo or something, there's always a nugget of information that hasn't come up before. So I can't thank you enough. And there's David and Sheila. Look, check this out. Loving it with their Upsticks folders. And they bumped into some other Upsticks clients when they were in there. So that was fantastic. Great, our little community in there on Monday, that was. And this is the road works that they mentioned. So that's going to be going on till next April. So if you go by car, make sure you research the areas where you are going to park correctly, because it has a lot of roadworks. Here's the photo of the building. It does look nice from the back, doesn't it? Or is that the BLS Centre there? Let me get right in front. Hang on a minute. Let me have a quick look. Oh, that is the bit. So there you go. That's the first time. See, another photo. That's the first time we've had a photo of the BLS building. I'll expand that a little bit. There we go. Above the actual office itself. That's below. So those two pillars there are the BLS office below. And which was the other photo that I had to show you? I think that was it. There's this one here. What's this one here? There we go. And that's the area behind with the restaurants and everything else. So cheers, guys. Can't thank you enough for that. That is just, thank you so much for sending that in. And any of you, even if you're not our clients and you want to send us photos of the BLS office to help other people out there, please do. And I just wanted to show you this as well. Now, this came to me through an email, which was something from the government anyway, blah, blah. But it's in Spanish, but it does explain this difference that I'm always trying to explain to people about having the right to live in Spain as an EU citizen, and it's called a registration. Although it's commonly known as a resident, it's a registration. And if you're not an EU citizen, you have to have permission. That's why all of our residency cards as third country nationals say permiso, and why a European person has something that says registro, because it's a registration, okay? Because they already have permission to be here by being a citizen. And this actually says, los ciudadanos del Estado miembro de la Unión Europea, so European citizens, de otro Estado parte en el Acuerdo sobre Espacio Económico Europeo, o Suiza, Switzerland, que vayan a residir en el territorio del Estado español por un periodo superior a 3 meses. So for those who call it, with those European citizens who are going to stay in Spain for more than 3 months, están obligados a solicitar su inscripción de registro central de extranjeros. They are obligated to request their inscription of the registration in the center of foreigners. So basically in the foreigners register. So there you go. If you're a European citizen and you intend to spend more than 3 months here, you have to go and register. And that is commonly known as residency. Okay. So there we go. Now we're back with YouTube. So what have we got with YouTube? Well, wait a minute. We have got some good comments actually today. But what I'm missing is a couple of things here, which I'm going to show you now. So I always show you these just to keep you interested. So well, if you want to book a call with us, you can do using this QR code there. If you're looking at coming to Spain, if you're looking at getting an NLV, check out our website and book a call and see if we can help you or not. I thought this was quite interesting. Check out these stats from our channel. So we have, this is the age group of people who are watching our channel. And it's just about our demographic, I think. So 25 to 34-year-olds, not many people are watching them. You know, there's probably be more digital nomad platform. 35 to 44, well, that's not bad, 4.9%. Then we go from 45 to 54, 11%. And this is where the jump comes, because, you know, generally it's understood that, you know, the early retirement is 55 and then all the way up to 65 plus. Look at that, 41.5% each. Okay, so let's say anybody from 55 upwards occupies 83% of our viewers out there, which I think is just about right for our demographic. That's the normal age group, I think. Now, this is our subscribers. Guys, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, please hit subscribe. It's absolutely free. It's going to help the channel. And we've only got 250 people to go until we hit that magic 5,000 subs. And I can't wait to get there. Come on, 250. One more good video, I think, from me, maybe a midweek video, and we will hit it. So look out for a nice video coming next week. But if you're not subscribed, and sometimes people don't even realize that they're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button if you're getting some useful content, and let's try and push the not subscribed bar down a bit, shall we? And last but not least, oh no, that's the wrong one. Let me get rid of that. And this one here. Here we go. So we have, look at our demographics. So we have 79.8% male viewers and 20.2% female viewers. But that doesn't equate to my calls that I have with people, and also the people who manage the process, because a lot of the time you'll find that in a couple, it will be one of the couple that takes charge of doing the paperwork and deals with me mainly. And I have a lot of female clients who deal with me directly with the paperwork, even though they're in a relationship with a male, or, you know. So I don't understand really. Maybe it's the accounts are registered by male account holders. I don't know. I couldn't understand why we have such a low female viewing. Maybe it's just my ugly mug, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's wrong. But the geography seems right. United Kingdom and Spain, that's about right, I'd say. And then if United States 4.3, and if you go low, there's a few others which make up the rest of the percentage. So there we go. Let's check out our YouTube comments. I've got some good comments for you today. Hi Chris, the sale of my UK house is going through, but I've been told it may. I haven't read these yet, by the way. I've just cut and pasted them out, so let's see. Let's hope I can answer them. But I've been told it may be November before completion. I have paid a reserve and a home in Compton and will be moving out there permanently. I cannot apply for my NRV until the house sale funds are in the account. I'm planning on coming over ASAP after completion in UK to complete in competent property, and I will then apply for my NRV. My question is, if I begin the process before the end of the year, but for whatever reason it does not get finalised until January 2026, will I be liable for capital gains in Spain on my UK property? I will, of course, have my NIE and Spanish bank account before completing in Compton. Excuse me, that is an absolutely fabulous question, and one that I'm faced with constantly on a daily basis. And it's this timeline structure. Now, first of all, we're not tax advisors, so we're not allowed to give tax advice, but we can tell you the general rules, and it's commonly known that the tax year runs from the 1st of January until the 31st of December. And if you spend physically 183 days in Spain during that period, then you will become a fiscal resident. That's with residency or not with residency. You'll become a fiscal resident in that year, which means the following year you'll be due to do a tax return. And if you do a tax return in that year and in the previous year you've had a capital gain, you could be liable to pay tax on that capital gain as part of your tax return, along with the other income that you are declaring as well. Definitely take tax advice if you've got any queries from a qualified tax professional. We've got plenty of videos on here with tax advisors. Jeremy, capital gains videos, fantastic. Watch that. Okay, but it's generally the rule. You want to, the first year that you move to Spain, if you don't want to be a tax resident here, you want to not spend 183 days physically in that year, whether that's visits before you even get your visa. So the answer to the question is, yeah, quite possibly, if your sale goes through in January, you receive the funds in January, and you move over next year and spend 183 days next year, then it's quite possible you'll become a fiscal resident and you'll have to pay capital gains if you've made a capital gains on that sale. Hence why we have this huge rush at the moment of people getting lots of visas in, because people have done their applications planning to enter Spain this time of the year by measuring the days they spend at the beginning of 2025, not too many, get their visa and come here and enjoy the rest of the year, but not spend 183 days. This brings us to our huge liability problem that we have with the timeline when we're talking to our clients and about structuring a timeline. Because I say to clients, well, you know, they don't know when their property is going to sell, and they put it on the market. It could take 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 4 months, but they want to get started because they want to come in at the back end of the year, you know, and hope the property sells before the end of the year, so they haven't got a capital gains liability, but they want to come in this year. Yeah, how that makes sense. So we talk about the liabilities of what would happen if the house had income off. So the first thing you've got to look at, once you hit the start of the visa process, is the financial liability of ordering documents. So first thing is once you pay our services, you know, if you have to put the brakes on, we don't charge you again to get started. We just start again when the time works for you. That's not a problem. But once you start ordering documents, ACRAs, medical certificates, marriage certificates, that all costs money. Then if you get to the point where you're like, I'm confident the house sale is going to go through, and you want to get translations and apostilles, that all costs money. You know, typically in a couple, you know, depending more or less on acro positioning of acros and stuff like that. But typically about £500, I'd say, in certificates and apostilles and translations per couple. Okay, so that's your liability to get yourself kicked off and get yourself prepared to go to your appointment. The other liability is everything you have to give up your job. So if you're getting all the way to that point where you are ready to go to the consulate but you need your P45, you still haven't handed in your notice, but you need to take a P45, or you need to deregister from being self-employed, then that's a huge liability. And then the last one of many, but is the health insurance. So you've given up your job, you've paid all the documents. Now it's time to pay that health insurance for the full year, and your house has just fallen through and you can't move. So within that structure, what you've got to do is every time you move on a little bit, is just look at the situation with your property and say, actually, do you know what? We decided to hit the button. We thought the property was going to sell. Before we get the apostilles and translations, we're going to hit the brakes on the paperwork. Let's see how the property sale goes. Then the only thing you've got to look at is the validity of those documents. When do they expire? You can take them to the BLS office on day 89, because that's when the clock stops. They don't have to be valid. They have to be valid. When you get your stamp, that's when the clock stops. But that's the sort of timeline you've got to look at. And a lot of people this time of the year, you know what, have sold subject to contract, and they will come to me and say, right, let's get started. Boom, let's get the documents on. Come, Chris, the contract's fallen through. Okay, where are we? Well, you've ordered acros. They're valid for 6 months, but it's looking like you're going to need new ones next year. Never mind. It gets us to see what's on them anyway. If there's anything, just check they're okay. You've ordered medical certificates. Okay, again, not going to be valid. Ordered a marriage certificate. It's not going to be valid for next year. Anyway, now you know the process. They'll be ripped up and put in the bin, but you'll start again next year. No apostilles yet, evidently, because that would be more money that you'd waste. Sometimes we get to the point where, yes, it's definitely going ahead. We just haven't signed on the dotted line, but we know it's subject to contract. We're just waiting for one person in the chain. I'm like, you're okay. Do you want to do the apostilles? We're talking about a week's turnaround here, so we can hold off if you want. Actually, no, let's hold off. It's always a balancing act. It's something that gives me a headache sometimes, but it's something that you have to talk to clients about. And sometimes you go, you know what? Okay, there you go. You've ordered some documents. You've lost 200 quid, but at the end of the day, it's better that you lose 200 quid than lose the tax liability. The other problem is if you do say health quickly and you're waiting for a visa, where are you going to live? That's a nice problem to have, because it means the process has been followed correctly, and now you've got your money in the bank, but the visa takes 2 or 3 months and you have to move out of your house. Again, that's a problem on the positive side, and lots of people end up living with family. So I hope that's helped to answer your question there, but it also explains a lot of the problems that people have when applying for the visa and their timeline. What we got? 368 does my video 365 days, the visas which have come out. So this means instead of 90 days, you really need to ensure that you're in Spain within 6 months to start the visa to ensure you have enough days for the renewal. Yes, it does. It does. You have to make sure that you stay in Spain for a minimum of 183 days to make sure you can guarantee your renewal. We don't know yet what dates are going to be put on the TIE cards. We will find out in early August when we have our first appointment. But whatever happens, you have to physically be in Spain for 183 days at the time of your, or more, the time of your renewal to be approved on your renewal. And don't forget that if you're going for long-term residency, it's even shorter, because it's 10 months over the 5-year period that you're allowed to be out for a permanent residency, which averages to 2 months a year. We have here madness at the BLS office. Yeah, that was last week's. Hi, Chris from Bolnuova, Murcia. Hey, Gaynor. Hey, Gaynor. Sorry, Gaynor Dealey. How you doing there? I didn't see that comment, so thanks for popping on. And then downstairs-ish road. Is it downstairs? It's downstairs-ish. When I went to BLS in London 2 years ago, it was the 1st of September and the place was full of students leaving it to the last minute. But I have to say the lady who dealt with me was very friendly, maybe because I had an 8-year-old son with me. I think she was surprised I was doing it in NLV. When people asked what my experience was like, I always say it was very stressful and a pain in the ass, but doable. And being a single parent here in Spain is the greatest move I've ever done. Love it here. Hello from Alcathene, just up the road. Thanks for that. And the last comment of the day, we've got, hello Chris, I'm writing this from Thailand. I'm in Spain on the 13th of August for 3 months. I want to start rolling and apply to get my NRV. I'm single, retired on a private pension, age 64. I've owned my home in Villamartin for 20 years and have a Spanish bank, and I have savings to over 70,000 euros in a UK account. No criminal record. Can you help? If I'm in Spain, there's anything I can help to speed up the process, like a medical. Yes, definitely we can help. But are you living in Thailand, or were you on holiday in Thailand? If you were living in Thailand, it would be a bit more complicated because of the BLS offices over there and the availability of the documents. But let us know where you are. If you're on holiday in Thailand and you actually live in the UK, definitely we can help. And if you live in Thailand, we'd have to have a look at the case first, but I'm sure there's something we could do, even if it's just the stage 2 for you and a bit of advice on stage 1. So drop us an email to support@upsticks.es or just book a call on the website. Okay then, guys, so that is the YouTube over and done with. Let's have a look at our news items. And it's a bit of a sad one today, I'm afraid. So sorry to bring the mood down a bit, but I think it's very important that we show this. British brother and sister 11 and 13 drowned off of beach. Unfortunately, that was wrong. Actually, it was 2 brothers, I read in the Spanish news. But I used to visit this beach all the time in Salou in Tarragona when I lived there. In fact, I lived 4 minutes from the beach, the Tamalaga, and it's so sad. So what's happened is, if you check this article out on the BBC, I'm not going to read it all out to you because you can go to the BBC and just check it out. I'm trying to bring it to your attention. This is 2 children with their father. I read it was 2 boys, but here it's tragically a boy and a girl. I don't know, but it was 2 siblings. This guy who also got dragged out of the sea, completely exhausted. Tragically, the boy and the girl could not be saved despite the best efforts of rescuers, said the head of police force, Jose Luis Gargallo. He added the father survived, although he had swallowed a large amount of water and was in a state of exhausted. Couldn't get my words out. Officials reported that the children who died had both been boys rather than a boy and a girl. Oh, okay, so it is a boy and a girl then. The sea was rough, and the people sometimes underestimate its power, especially in this area, which is usually very calm, said Mr. Gargallo. 90% of the time, there's no danger on that beach, and it's considered an ideal spot for swimming. But Tuesday was different, not just at the beach, but along the entire coast. Lifeguards on the beach had finished by the time the emergency call came in about the drowning children shortly after 9 o'clock. He added the authorities will review everything and steps will be taken to prevent any similar incidents. I mean, the problem is it's so difficult to present it. I mean, it's just terrible. It just goes to show you've got to be so careful on the beaches. This winter, it was April time, I went to Torremolinos Beach, and there was some people on holiday there. You can also tell they were from here, and the waves were just ginormous. They were like the size of the kids that were jumping into them, and you just can't do it. Don't do it, because it's fun jumping into the waves, all right, but there's also undercurrents. There's plenty of don't know the correct technical word. There's plenty of stuff on the internet which show how the undercurrents come in and then sweep and come off to one side. And I've felt them before, even in the Med, So you've got to be so careful. Certainly, I don't think swimming at night time. I know you're not allowed to swim in the hotel pools, but any time after 8 o'clock in the sea is probably not going to be a good idea if you're in an area that hasn't got a lifeguard there controlling it. Because, say for example, you get attacked by jellyfish, that's happened before. People have, you know, got, you know, a few meters out, a little bit out of their depth, attacked by jellyfish, and it's sort of paralyzed them a little bit, or they've had a shock and have gone into shock. And sadly, there was one case many years ago that the guy drowned because he got stung. So, you know, it's just be careful out there when you're on holiday. If you're not used to it, you might think you're a strong swimmer, but the sea, even the Med, which you wouldn't think is a place which could be dangerous. So yeah, I couldn't. It's just horrific looking at that story, and I suppose it just reminds us all just to be a bit careful. We've got friends and family and stuff coming over. You know, keep an eye on the kids. So these guys were teenagers. So yeah, you know, just be careful out there on the beach, guys, because even, you know, a few waves and it can be dangerous. Okay, then, so we're going to go on to our Spain item, and I was going to say, and get out of your hair, but I pressed the button too quickly. I've only got one thing to Spain today. I didn't organise myself very well, but we're running up on 45 minutes anyway. And I went to see, I might have mentioned it once, I might mention it twice. I went to see the Prodigy at the weekend here in Mare Nostrum, here in Figueroa. I've only got one photo to show you. One photo that I can show you. No, I'm joking. This was then basically the stage at Mare Nostrum. Every other photo I've got is full of lasers, full of smoke, and you really can't see an awful lot at all. So that's the only one I could get, which showed the grandeur of the stage there in Mare Nostrum, below the castle in Figueroa. Positives and negatives if you are thinking of going to that venue. I've seen so many, everybody from Lionel Richie to Carl Cox to Prodigy. They have everything from raves to romantic nights at that venue, and up to 18,500 people, I was reading, can fit into the venue, and it's sold out for the Prodigy. So I can tell you now that 18,000 people is really hard to get a drink. I can say that now to start with. But the positives and negatives. Positives are it's really easy to get to, plenty of parking. If you don't mind a little 20-minute walk, they have facilitated lots of parking up behind the shopping centre, absolutely free, and they do little shuttle buses as well, although we just walked. You're quite close to the shopping centre. It's only literally, the entrance is 10-minute walk from the shopping centre, so you can go there, have something to eat, have a drink beforehand. Getting in wasn't a problem, absolutely no queues really at all. We went in, the security search was non-existent. Really, so I mean, they just patted you down, make sure you didn't have any large items on you, but apart from that, that was it. There was no checking your pockets or anything. It was well served inside with toilet, although there was humongous queues for the toilets. They went down very quickly. There was toilets and bars stationed around, and albeit they were very, very busy, they were accessible. And the only thing is that they have a PMR bar, which is people of reduced mobility, or personas de movilidad reducida. And there seemed to be a queue there, which didn't seem to be, I mean, it should really be for people in wheelchairs. So I don't really know what was going on with that queue, because they didn't see that many wheelchairs in the queue behind people stood up. Maybe it was people who couldn't stand up for that long, but it ended up being the same size queue as all the other bars. So maybe they need to address that. No VIP area for old people who are over 40 and like to, maybe privilege themselves with paying a little bit extra and then getting access to somewhere to sit down. Maybe I'd do that. But in general, it's a lovely venue, but it's all inclined, so it's all slightly on a hill down to the stage, which means it's really the visuals are great from anywhere because you can see the stage, but you always seem to be sort of going down a hill, or when you go to the toilet, you go like up a hill down the back. So it's definitely not a flat venue. And apart from the Prodigy sound, it was amazing when they were on for an hour and a half. The rest of the sound was absolutely naff. I mean, considering there's 18,000 people there, and I've been, and they had some fantastic DJs on before and after the Prodigy, and the sound was just rubbish. I thought it was me just being deaf, but then I read the comments afterwards about the sound, and it was rubbish. So I have to say, They need to improve their game if they're going to have that kind of event, like an electronic music event when it comes to the sound. They've got Carl Cox there on the 16th of August, so let's see. But all in all, definitely a show worth seeing and a bucket list ticked for me, because I've been listening to the Prodigy for many, many years. And what Robbo said to me, he asked me, well, do you think they'll be the same without Keith? They were good. They were good. I never saw them with Keith, so I don't know. But yeah, they were pretty good. They did do a nice respectful fire starter, but they didn't sing it and had his vision on there, as a sort of a tribute to him. So there we go. Okay then, guys. Well, that's it. That's us for today. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry for letting you down. If you like the content, you can. If you like the content, you can buy me a coffee here. There you go. You can buy me a coffee there if you like the content. And if you're interested in an LV, don't forget to get in touch with us. And we will be back next week with our weekly update number 78.